It broke the surface of the ocean. It was the most spectacular thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was like bringing a body out of the ocean. The mystery still lingers. We're still working on it today.
A group called Project 19 is dedicated to solving the mystery. But retrieving the Navy plane also means they must work in the deadly Bermuda Triangle.
There are forces out there. There is a sense of energy about you all the time. You don't know what's going to happen out there.
And as the recovery team works to determine if this Avenger was part of Flight 19, other sailors and pilots who dare to venture into the Bermuda Triangle continue to be plagued by the frightening phenomenon.
I took the controls of the PBY about 2 hours out of Bermuda, and it really was a beautiful day.
As I say, we could not see the wingtips of the airplane.
It was like flying in a tube going through this stuff, and it never dawned on me I was in the Bermuda Triangle.
On June 11th, 1986, Martin Caden and his wife Dee Dee were part of a flight commemorating the history of a PBY flying boat called the Catalina. The Cadens are both seasoned pilots with over 50 years of experience between them. On June 11th, Dee Dee was at the controls. Suddenly, all the plane's instruments stopped functioning.
The magnetic compass was spinning. It was totally useless. We had nothing from the outside world. We were in limbo.
We believe there was a tremendous electromagnetic effect. We don't know for sure, but we had $2 million worth of the world's finest electronic instruments just completely crap out on us.
Outside the window of the plane, it looked like you were flying an eggnog. It looked like flying through, like in a lemon meringue pie.
You lose all reference to what's right, what's left, what's up, what's down, and many airplanes go into an uncontrolled spin and just come out of the sky and smash into the ocean.
It was very sudden when we came out of it. And it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half out of Jacksonville that it cleared up.
And little by little, all the instruments began to come back online. The gyros stopped spinning, the magnetic compass settled down, and all the electronic devices came back in and were working perfectly.
Martin and Dee Dee Caden survived because of sheer luck. Perhaps, like the Cadens, Flight 19's instruments failed, but the pilot's luck ran out. If that's true, then what is the source of a force powerful enough to make technology useless?
It's hard for science to go out there and document it and dissect it because it doesn't happen all the time. But boy, once you experience it, you have a lot of respect for it. It's dangerous.
We feel the unpredictable forces of the Earth in the violent eruption of a volcano or a sudden high-magnitude earthquake. These events remind us of the tremendous energy smoldering just beneath our feet. Might this energy build to such an intensity that it could transform the entire Earth in an instant?
It's 2 p.m. in Los Angeles, and you're stuck on the freeway. Just outside Omaha, it's 4 p.m., and you're finishing up the day's farm work. It's 5 p.m. in New York City, and you're on your way home. Then, at exactly the same instant in time, everyone in the United States, everyone on the planet, shares one fatal experience, an unspeakable catastrophe. On May 5th, in the year 2000, the entire Earth turns on its side.
On 5/5/2000, should the polar ice cap go in motion, the first thing that will happen will be tremendous earthquakes worldwide. Gigantic, 8, 9, 10 on the Richter scale. And at the same time, volcanic activity erupting around the seismic regions of the Earth. And the wind, as the Earth shifts, will rage wildly, trying to seek a new equilibrium, so that the wind speeds of 200-300 miles an hour will literally destroy most dwellings on the surface.
Is it possible for the Earth to turn on its side? Could Los Angeles become the new South Pole? Yes, says author Richard Noon. His research indicates that a polar shift is not just possible, it's inevitable, caused by a massive accumulation of ice at the South Pole, a theory introduced in part by Albert Einstein.
Einstein found that the weight of the ice, the mass, it could be stone, ice, junk cars, whatever, it takes approximately 1,700 pounds of pressure per square inch to fracture the rock, most of it's sedimentary rock in Antarctica anyway. As the ice increases in height and size, the weight of it is beyond human comprehension, and it depresses the ground under the ice. The ground under the ice, in turn, squeezes out the plastic viscous molten material underneath it. And that viscous molten material has to go somewhere. And it moves through the Earth's fault lines. And this creates more earthquake and volcanic activity, which is what you see today.
Many highly active volcanoes have erupted since Mount St. Helens in 1980. And in a recent one-month period, 5 earthquakes of a 6.5 magnitude or greater have shifted the Earth worldwide.
We're in the middle of an environmental collapse. A shift of the crust of the Earth takes approximately 3 days to complete, and with it, the destruction of most places on Earth.
Within a 3-day period, everything that we now take for granted could violently disappear. The skyscrapers of Los Angeles, gone. The Golden Gate Bridge, twisted wreckage covered in ice. The Washington Monument, a mass of rubble. This is just one man's theory, but the buildup of ice at the poles is one fact in Noon's theory, confirmed by some geologists.
Presently, ice does build up at the South Pole, but it doesn't build up arbitrarily high because the Earth's crust is plastic and it warps down as a consequence of the weight of the new snow and ice that's being piled up. So in reality, the whole depth of the ice cap doesn't get all that much bigger than it is right now.
And what about the greenhouse effect? Haven't aerosol cans and industrial pollution created a hole in the ozone layer that's warming the Earth and melting polar ice?
What happens is, at least early on in a warming situation on the Earth, the natural convection currents in the atmosphere itself carry that warm, moist air to the poles where the moisture condenses and falls as snow.
Geology, the publication of the Geological Society of America, has recently published research that adds some substance to Noon's theory. But the idea of a radical, instantaneous polar shift is still considered extremely controversial.
The theory that's proposed here is the entire crust slides around catastrophically. And there's really no geologic evidence. There's no any kind of climatic, geochemical, geophysical evidence that shows that that's even possible.
The supposed trigger for this global nightmare will be a rare alignment of all 9 planets on May 5th, 2000, just 8 years from now. Noon believes this will be the fatal gravitational planet. A preposterous theory, perhaps, but just remember, only 40 years ago, no one believed the universe began with a big bang. Today, it's scientific fact.
Coming up, a woman who claims to have witnessed unexplainable natural phenomena.
I saw this beautiful ball of light in the sky.
When it comes to taking care of allergies, moms and kids don't often agree.
Take medicine that works.
Take medicine that tastes good.
Dimetap.
Yes!
Pediatricians and pharmacists agree too. For allergies, Dimetap Elixir works as good as it tastes.
I hope when people see Subway, bells go off and they think, good sandwich. We don't deep fry or freeze dry. Everything's fresh. Each morning, I slice tomatoes, onions. I even bake the bread. These days, people think a lot about what food to eat. Nothing's more honest than a good sandwich. So if the body's a temple, this is the place to come when the temple gets hungry.
The price of a good sandwich just got lower. The 6-inch cold cut combo, only $1.49 for a limited time at Subway.
Exclamation!
Punctuation.
Exclamation. Is the punctuation.
At last, 3 great comedies are back together on a classic Fox Sunday. First, it's Fire Marshal Bill versus the Alien.
Don't touch him! He's got my eye.
And all new in living color. Then, for one special night only, The Simpsons are back on Sundays.
Yeah!
And the Bundys are still living it up in London.
Just somebody should have told that toilet the Yanks were coming.
On an all-new Married with Children. 3 great comedies together again for one night only on a classic Fox Sunday.
Certain sites fascinate us because we don't know who created them or even why they're there. And then there are even more enigmatic places where strange phenomena are believed to reveal themselves again and again.
Massive prehistoric stone monuments. Many people experience a strange feeling of fascination at these sites. It may be the same type of feeling that inspired the ancients to create them in the first place.
When visitors have strange, unsettling feelings, some scientists believe they could be a real physical reaction to unusually high levels of radiation or electromagnetism emanating from the Earth.
These places have been deliberately placed in these locations of great natural power and energy, and that all the stone circles in England and Wales that we've closely checked all occur either immediately alongside a geological fault line or in very close proximity. And we find this sort of pattern throughout the world where we've been able to check it. And it tells us that people did choose specific areas of the Earth's surface because they had certain energetic properties about them.
Paul Devereaux is a researcher in the field of Earth mysteries. He investigates the secret energies present at ancient sites, like this bizarre collection of immense stones known as the Avebury Henge, erected 4,000 years ago. For the last 10 years, there have been many reports of unusual lights hovering overhead. They're clearly not UFOs, but frightening apparitions created right here on Earth. Lifelong Avebury resident Heather Garland came face to face with the lights on a clear night in 1987.
I saw this beautiful ball of light in the sky, and I thought, oh, lovely full moon, because I love the full moon and starry night. And I watched it and I thought, oh no, ye gods, it's not the full moon. The moon comes in the opposite direction. When it got to the stones, it turned and started coming towards me, and with that it came right down to the grass and just went out.
These lights, nobody knows what they are. They're rather exotic phenomena. They're not UFOs, they're not flying saucers. They're somehow produced by the Earth itself. I call them Earth lights.
Near the seaside town of Penzance in southwest England, a mysterious light phenomenon has been seen at this 3,000-year-old subterranean chamber known as the Bole Fugu. It continues to mystify visitors. Joe May is a teacher in Penzance and spent a night in the dark underground cavern in June 1988.
Just before the point of dawn, I was awake and I thought I could see spiraling movements, is the only way I could describe them. A sort of soup of spirals swirling around. And they were very like the shapes on the tips of your fingers. They suddenly exploded into stars. There were lots of little pinpricks of light in with them, flowing around.
Swirling carvings found in primitive dwellings around the world bear an uncanny resemblance to the site Joe May describes. Could that mean that people saw these same lights 3,000 years ago? Another resident of Penzance, artist Gabrielle Hawkes, is drawn to the Bole Fugu by its mysterious energy.
It happened some years ago when I was camping in the grounds here. I came into the Fugu. It's dark and dank and mysterious as usual. I kind of began to lose myself in a way, so a feeling of timelessness for a few seconds. And then quite suddenly, it was as though a scene unfolded in front of me. It consisted of a scene in bright daylight of a church and a churchyard. I remember the colours were very bright. In some ways it was like a dream, but at the same time I was very much awake. I was aware of standing there thinking, well, this is extremely odd, what is going on?
Do these strange Earth energies explain why ancient peoples selected these locations for their monuments? Perhaps we are, in the late 20th century, beginning to understand scientifically what our ancestors understood intuitively about the potent energies of the Earth.
Coming up, are these landmarkings a result of extraterrestrial contact?
No one knows exactly what intelligence was behind it.
Crystal light, drench yourself in a wave of refreshment.